Well, not helping this violent crime issue is the large number of police officers resigning and agencies struggling to recruit. Crime Stoppers' Jim Fuda joins us tonight. Jim, what's keeping people from wanting to work in law enforcement?
Well, I think some of it depends on the restriction of their tools as well. When we were having our demonstrations and managements and had to break up demonstration management stuff, had to break up these large crowds, rioters, is that the council took away things like less lethal, the rubber bullets, the mace, tear gas, those kinds of things that left these poor officers with basically their shield, baton, and their fists to protect themselves and break up crowds. So the protesters were complaining, and the city council listened to them instead of saying it wasn't fair that police had these tools and took them away from them.
Sure, in some cases, they might just not feel safe to be police officers. Now, some departments are trying incentives to lure new recruits. Baltimore, for example, announcing $5,000 signing bonuses, $60,000 starting salaries. But, Jim, it doesn't appear to be doing the trick right now. So there was a time when simply a sense of duty would do it, perhaps a pension, too. But what do you think is going to take these days?
Well, I think it gets to leadership. And, you know, in any job, an employee wants to feel valued, secure, and that he's going to be protected. And especially in something like law enforcement, where even justified or not, at least they want to know that they're going to be treated fairly. And some of that has got to come back. You need support from your city government, your leaders, rather than waiting for you to do something wrong so you could be fired and made an example of.
Yeah, now earlier we heard from a correspondent, Scott Thuman, talking about Minneapolis looking to add social workers to respond to certain calls, mental health related calls, for example. That would free up officers for emergencies that they're better suited for, better trained for. Other cities exploring this option as well. Your thoughts on this? Is this one way to at least put a Band-Aid on this shortage right now?
Well, here's what I find is that police have never claimed to be counselors, social workers, anything like that, but they are trained in certain skills and to help prevent violence. So any one of these calls on the street can escalate very quickly, and at least you have officers there on the scene that can triage that and bring them to those people, the social workers, the counselors, whatever it might be, and I think it leads for a safer community.
Now, your area, speaking of safe communities or communities that are not so safe, the Seattle-Tacoma area just ranked among the least safest in the country. Factoring into that is the number of law enforcement officers per capita, among other things. Paint a picture for us of how you see crime and policing in Seattle today.
Well, you know, the Seattle Police Department is down less than or more than 400 since the start of the pandemic, and they have about 40% less officers that are capable to respond to the street from that particular time. So you just have to look at what's available. You know, Seattle now has 20.5 officers per 10,000 citizens, and the King County and the rest of the state is a little lower at about 18.5. So we're spread pretty thin.
What can you tell us about training for these officers? Do you feel like they're equipped to handle the amount of violent crimes that we're seeing, or is there more that needs to be done on that front as well as part of the recruitment efforts, telling these recruits, hey, you're going to be properly trained to handle this? Yeah,
it gets up to a lot of not only the training, but, you know, once they're out on the street, what tools are they going to have, and the de-escalation thing, you know, they have to do these certain steps or they get punished for not following some of those when, you know, you're in that split moments decision what you have to do. And I think it makes it can make it unsafe, and officers are not reacting quickly enough, which is getting people hurt.
Sure. A tough job, but an important one. Jim Fuda, thanks so much. We appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.